God would. Now then everybody, it's Dan from homephysique.com, and I just want to quickly give a shout out to Adam from Shreddy He sent me this t-shirt, which is, well, I'm going to have to work hard to fill the arms out because they're a bit loose on me. Basically, he's got a channel, he's an amateur bodybuilder. He's already competed in NABA earlier this year, I think it was. He did alright. I mean, like I say, it was his first show, so go check him out, show him some support. He deserves a bit of attention. Anyway, this video we are going to be looking at the flooring part of my home gym buyer's guide. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get it up, but to be honest, these things take time. What I'm going to do is look at the different types that you can get, or the more common ones that I've found, to be honest, since starting my home gym. Just try and go over a few of the pros and cons of each one. Okay, so first up then, why bother with flooring for your home gym? The main reason is because it protects your floor. It's going to protect your weights as well. It just basically looks after your equipment. It's better to be walking about on than say concrete, especially in winter. You're going to find that your floor, well, this is if you live in a country where the climate gets quite cold, like England. Basically, you'll find in winter, if you're training on a concrete floor, it will get really cold, so it's not really optimal. So what are the options that are available then? Now, if we was going to talk about top dollar, creme de la creme, pièce de résistance of flooring, it would be a lifting platform. So basically, what people use for Olympic lifting, like weightlifting sort of thing, deadlift platform, those type of things where you've got a wooden base with rubber. So when you lift the weights and you drop them, there's no problem on the floor or anything, it just all absorbs all the shock. Now, the problem with that is that lifting platforms are really expensive. If you go and search on a few shops to see what type of price they are, they can get into the thousands. So for somebody who owns their own home gym, it's going to be a massive chunk of money to come out of your budget, so it's not really going to be affordable. However, you can build these yourself for a fraction of the cost. It's still going to be expensive because wood is not cheap, but you can do it a lot cheaper. I'm going to put a link in the description for a good website that shows you how to do this, so check that out. Okay, so one thing that is very common in home gyms are stable mats. These are really thick pieces of rubber. Some of them can be like up to 40 mil thick rubber, so you're looking at like that type of thickness. Now getting that type of rubber thickness from some shops can be quite expensive, but these stable mats are usually made for the job, so you find that they might be a bit cheaper than buying rubber separately in rolls. Your best bet is with flooring is really to look on eBay or auction sites, second-hand shops, stuff like that. Try and really just look for it through there because it's not cheap at all, although you might be able to get it for say 20 quid a square metre, something like that. I mean, which isn't cheap, you know what I mean? It's going to be expensive, put it that way. You might get it a lot cheaper. Okay, so you can get these foam gym tiles. These are like the type of things that you'd find in say like an aerobics class, something like that. They're really these are only 10 mil thick. They basically slot together. You can sort of see here that it's damaged and distorted. This is what I used to deadlift onto, and you can see what it's done to it. You know, it's pretty much beat it up. The problem with them is that they're not very strong. They do not resist any type of abuse. If you're going to drop something on them, you'll probably dint them straight away. The good part about them is if you wanted to tile out your gym to keep it warm, they offer a little bit of insulation, you see, and keep your place warm. These are a really good choice because they are really cheap in respect to the other things you can buy. So what I've done is my entire floor is decked with these tiles, and then I put rubber on top of them. So we'll get to that now. Rubber is something that is you're gonna have to excuse the noise here. It's basically a good thing to use. Now this is not very thick at all. This is basically 4 mil rubber. I managed to get this from work, so it wasn't too bad. For me, I put this down under my rack, and that's where you can see the floor's black in my videos. This rubber is on top of the blue tiles. It offered a little bit of noise cancellation, a little bit of vibration dampening, if you get me, but in all honesty it really didn't protect the floor underneath at all, because where I usually deadlift, the floor is caved in where the concrete has just been pile drived. So Rubber is obviously not the best thing on its own unless you get a really thick piece, and that's why I say the stable mats are probably your best bet to go for. A really thick piece. Like I say, mine, you're talking is a few mil, whereas stable mats are about that thick, so you got to take that into account. Now obviously the other thing you can use is plywood. Now plywood is used to actually build lifting platforms themselves, and the reason for that is because it's very strong, it's very durable, it can take a lot of abuse, it can take shock with it being ply, and it's strong shit, you know. So it's a very good option. Like I say, I've had this piece here, you can see there's some cracks in this where I used to deadlift with my steel plates onto it. Again, it's going to come down to abuse. It's cracked it, but it hasn't changed, that's all. I mean, it's still a solid piece of wood. I'm not going to try and Bruce Lee punch through it to prove anything, but it's still a decent piece of wood, and when you drop your plates onto the floor, it takes all the abuse. So my floor is fine now because it's covered with this. One thing about plywood obviously is that it's not cheap. It's well, it depends where you go to, but it can be quite expensive. I think local places like B&Q here, you're looking at about 30 quid for a sheet, or anywhere from 20 quid to 30 quid, put it that way. So your best bet of what to do with plywood is to lay the plywood down first and then put some black rubber on top of it. Well, it doesn't have to be black, but put some rubber down on top of it. That way you're going to get the vibration dampening, you're going to take more of a shock, and you probably prolong the life of your plywood as well. So basically, there you go. Those are the types of flooring that I've encountered myself and think to be the most suitable things for your gym. Obviously, if you can afford it, the lifting platform is the way to go. If I could do my gym again, I would definitely get a lifting platform, simply because it's just, well, it's the bee's knees, isn't it? It's the best thing to be lifting on. Next best option, I would say, would be to try and get hold of some stable mats, if you can find them secondhand. I will also say that if you're in the UK, Strength Shop are often doing, on their Thursday clearances, they're often selling gym flooring ridiculously cheap, and I mean really cheap. 30mm thick tiles for not much money at all. I mean, I'm sure I saw them for like 10 quid at some point a tile, and that is ridiculously cheap for how big they are. Again, those are the type of things where it comes along, so you've got to take advantage of it. So if you do see stuff like that, those are what you want to be pouncing on. Anyway, there you go. I hope this has been helpful. Please like, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers now.